Hello everybody, I am Linkzilla, and welcome back to Jurassic Park the Game. We're beginning episode 4, The Survivors. It's time we finally got the truth out of Dr. Laura Sorkin.
Billy, let her go!
Billy, stop! Let her go!
Stay out of my way!
What are you doing?
Warning you, keep back!
Come on, think this through!
Dad, do something!
Shut up! Shut up! Tell us, Doctor, what's out there? What did this to him?
They're called Troodon Pectinodon. They were meant to be euthanized, but...
What? You let them out?
No. I kept them in quarantine for study. I thought they may have been leaving the pen somehow, but I wasn't certain.
You knew about those damn creatures all along. While we were out there, exposed, humping around like idiots looking for our pilot.
Billy, wait!
We were nearly killed by one of our own men. Probably bitten by one of those things just like Decaf. Who knows where his catatonic body is now? Both our teams are dead. Oscar's dead. All because of your dinosaurs. All because of you.
I'd like to basically take this moment to point out that I actually side with Billy here, because, literally speaking, it's just as Laura said. John Hammond didn't... Well, it's later revealed in the journal entry that the Troodons were a bit too unsightly, and by unsightly, I mean dangerous. John was actually afraid that they actually would be a bit more... They would be a bit too dangerous if they ever escaped. You know, basically like if they got out into the park and whatnot, so he ordered them be destroyed, and Laura didn't.
Billy, listen, I get it. You're angry, but we need Laura alive. She's the only one here familiar with what we're dealing with.
And what good does it do us if she keeps that intel to herself? Anyway, this witch is a liar. She's lied to all of us. Put me in the direct line of danger to protect her agenda and her precious freak show. What else is she hiding?
Please, if I knew sooner,
Ah, shut it.
You knew this entire time.
Yes, she lied to all of us, but she also helped when she could. Nima is alive because of her.
She could have warned us.
I wasn't entirely sure yet. For all I knew, she could have gotten into the quarantine pens.
You think that
So what, I'm
someone...
the enemy? I'm the bad guy here? I'm just trying to open your eyes. I'm trying to show you the truth and bring someone to account for it.
You don't want to be the bad guy here, but that's where you're heading. You don't want to go down that road, right?
Oh, come on. This isn't on me. It's time for her to take responsibility.
That's just it, Billy. She's not the one responsible. This falls on the shoulders of Hammond and InGen, and now we're all suffering for it.
Still.
Billy, let her go. We need every able mind and body we can get.
All she has to say is it's my fault. It's my fault. Come on, Doc. Let me hear it.
No, it wasn't.
Say it!
It's my fault.
There. It wasn't so difficult, was it? Your friends may have saved you here. At least I got the truth out of you. You want her alive? You got her.
Our mystery eggs hatched today, confirming my suspicions. They're Troodon Pectinodon. I'm thrilled to have achieved these results in my own lab, but Hammond is concerned that we've cloned a dinosaur that might not fit into his vision for the park. Or maybe Hammond is concerned that these things might actually be dangerous. I mean, look at that little thing that came out. That thing is, like, unnatural. He wants a full evaluation before he'll add them to the list. Troodon, wounding tooth. He knew they would be efficient We knew they would be efficient predators with grasping hands, binocular vision, and exceptionally large brains. We figured they might be nocturnal, but we had no idea about the stealth, the stalking, or the nightmarish venom. After the latest incident, John has deemed that the Troodon to be a threat to his vision of the park. He has told me that in no uncertain terms that they are to be destroyed, along with all records of their creation. I'll play along, but I will not euthanize an entire species. I'll hide them in the quarantine pens for now. They'll be safe there. You guys see what I mean? She literally knew. All this time, she knew exactly what the animals were and how dangerous they were, and I don't buy that bullshit excuse that she gave, that she thought that maybe Nima had gotten too close to the quarantine pens. She knew that no one, not even Nima, would basically, especially not Nima, would actually have gotten close to where her lab was and where the quarantine pens were. And worst of all, if the pens were actually being kept in an area that someone might accidentally stumble across, that's just even more negligence on her part, because literally she's leaving them out in the open where anybody could accidentally get bitten. So literally speaking, she has no excuse. She has no justification. Hammond wanted them destroyed, not because they were a threat to his vision of the park, it's because Hammond actually recognized the danger that these animals posed. Which is really saying something about Hammond, considering that he absolutely would not listen to Muldoon talking about how the raptors needed to be destroyed. It goes to show you how terrifying these things must be. Anyway, let's get back to the action.
You just mark my words. She will save just one of those animals before she lifts a finger to help you. Now, everyone make themselves useful. I've got to tend to decaf.
Look, we can't stay here long. Let's just give Billy a minute and see if we can find anything useful. A way out, even.
Okay, we'll do a sweep of the room and check in when we're done. Agreed? I think they're empty. They're still heavy, though. Huele a excremento. I don't want to see anything. Maybe it's clear.
Leave the door alone. We're not going back out that way.
Why not?
It's a dead
Because we
end.
aren't backtracking, and those damn creatures could still be out there.
I hate being trapped down here like a rat. Jess, stay close to me, okay? I'll keep you safe. Dad?
That's a good idea, hon.
Character development.
Billy, we should cover decaf. I don't want Jess to see this.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Jess, hon, leave him alone.
What about this grate? It looks big enough for everyone.
And it looks like it's heading in the right direction.
That's the way to go.
Just great. It's locked. Anyone happen to have a key?
You never did answer that question of whether or not you could pick a lock.
I don't understand. I thought the dinosaurs couldn't breed.
They can't. They're all female.
Then how do they lay eggs?
Theropods shed eggs just like most other egg-laying animals. Think about chickens. The whole egg market is made up of unfertilized eggs, right?
Oh, yeah. So they still have to lay them?
Oh my.
What is it?
You bring up a good point about our dinosaurs ovulating. But these eggs are gathered in a clutch. This is brooding behavior.
So, chickens will brood a large enough clutch?
But not our dinosaurs. I've found post-ovulatory eggs in the ranges. They're mal-shaped, usually destroyed or kicked into the bush.
I see. Wait, we can't jump to any conclusions. How could this even be possible?
Could a girl dino turn into a boy dino?
With Dr. Wu's slapdash approach to gene sequencing, anything could go wrong.
Could I pick this lock? Not that I would know how, but I don't want to add breaking an entry onto my dad's list of my criminal tendencies.
Ah, that answers that. Well,
I don't want to get stuck at a vent with a dinosaur. Besides, there's blood everywhere. Ow! Hot! Locked. A flare kit. This might come in handy. Nemo, what can you remember about that animal that bit you?
I didn't see it when it attacked. It went by so fast. It was dark. After it bit me, I became confused, like I'd been drugged. I remember there were many of them. They had glowing eyes.
Glowing eyes?
Yeah, like ojos del lobo.
Eyes of the wolf.
These Troodon. What else can you tell me about them?
Well, they're nocturnal. They're intelligent, like raptors, but they don't hunt like them. They envenomate with a single bite, then back off. Stalk their prey. Their teeth are serrated and retain saliva, and the saliva is saturated with the toxin.
Nemo's bite. It was from a Troodon?
Yes, definitely.
This should all be an indication here, Jerry.
Jess, stay away from the vents. No more sneaking off, understand?
I'm not going anywhere, Dad.
Maybe we should get going.
Are you sure?
Yeah, if you're ready, Billy. Billy, did you find something?
No, nothing. Is everyone ready?
What about Decaf?
I took care of that.
It looked like you took something off him. And if he has something that will help us...
I didn't find anything. I took his dog tags. Insurance doesn't pay out to his family unless his dog tags are returned. Satisfied?
Billy has a grenade
Sorry
now.
for pushing.
He's not telling them about
Should we
it.
bring him with us?
Why bother? He's already buried. Look, I know where his body is. We're not equipped to transport it. Hopefully, we can retrieve his remains when this is all over. All right, listen up. Everything that just happened, bygones, understand?
I wonder if he thought to break Decaf's neck, you
Tell
know,
me
to
again about the
put him out of
phones.
his misery.
According to the terminal in my lab, the marine exhibit phones are still connected to the transceiver. The visitor center phones
Too far away, okay? And we can get to the exhibit through the tunnels?
They're all interconnected. I think I can still
The
find...
answer is yes. Thank you. All right, we all have the same priorities here now. We get to this marine exhibit and find the phone. We get another chopper in the air to lift us out from there.
How are we gonna get there? Troodon could still be out there.
We aren't equipped to treat any more bites. We have to... Shh. I will not be shushed.
Shut up. They're coming.
Oh no.
It's time we see these things. Oh no.
They're coming through the vent!
Okay, the lockers. Damn.
Come on!
Oh, there it is. There. I'll hold it off. They're going around.
They're going past the door.
Oh no. Get ready.
Jerry, get that grate open!
I'm on it. I need something to break the lock.
The tank.
We'll find that something!
The air tank!
What?
Use the air tank! It's heavy and sturdy!
Glad I did the ones over. Alright. Gearing up. Come on.
Yeah!
I hate this
A
part.
little busy here!
There!
What about him?
Oh, throw me one!
Come on, Billy. Gotcha.
Heads up!
Got it. They're afraid of the light. No! Dang it! That's gonna make things really harder down the road.
I got it. Let's go.
Everybody pour in. Billy! That's gotta hurt. Scalding hot water. Well, at least I managed to get Billy's. Time to close the door. So those are the Troodons.
Oh no. Which way, Laura?
I don't know where we are anymore. We need to head towards the north.
Gotta find some water mains.
Keep moving! Don't look back, it only slows you down!
Wait. The conduit's gone.
Don't stop!
Wait, those are water mains.
Go, follow him!
And we've come to an intersection.
Which way, Laura?
I don't know, Jerry. We must be 40 feet underground. I have no idea where we are.
Well, we can't just sit around with our thumbs up our butts.
I don't hear them anymore. Their behavior seemed territorial. Maybe we're far enough away from the nest that they gave up on us.
This
We
is
might
my
have
least
outpaced
favorite
them.
puzzle
We're not
of the
exactly
entire
in a secure
game.
location.
Especially
Which way we head,
considering
Doc?
we just came off of like a major
Go
action
ahead.
sequence
Can
and
you
we're
read
being
these?
chased, and
Maybe.
yet
If
the
I can
game
find-
practically pauses
Yes,
for
okay.
this.
We're at a four-way intersection. There are only 4 such intersections on the plan. Let me just cross-reference these detail labels. Okay, we just have to figure out which intersection we're at. Look around the corridors for any distinguishing features. I'll see if I can eliminate possibilities.
Without Nima's flair, this is going to be very difficult.
Maybe I can help with the plans. They look pretty simple.
Alrighty. Let's do Nema first.
There's a big yellow pipe that goes down a bit on the left and then crosses over to the other side. There are these two big electrical boxes of some kind on the right. I see two ladders along the left of the tunnel. The tunnel goes straight and then turns to the right.
Alright, so based on what Nema's told us, let's see, electrical. They all somewhat have that big yellow piping. Right.
There's a big yellow pipe going down the left wall. It crosses over the ceiling partway down the corridor. There's a ladder on the right, and on the far wall at the end. It looks like the corridor ends in a T intersection. I see some sort of water tanks at the end of the hall.
Yep. Oh, wait. Yeah. This one doesn't have them. So we can cross this one out.
What do you think, Jess? Probably not this one?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Alright, that narrows it down to one of three. Let's see what we can see, Billy.
There's a big yellow pipe that goes down the left wall and into the floor. There's a set of water tanks partway down the corridor on the right.
On the right.
This tunnel only goes down a few dozen yards to a dead end.
So it's a dead end.
I see one ladder at the end of the hallway.
They're all dead ends. I have a feeling that it's this one.
I'm just gonna cross this one off.
Okay, I hope you're right.
You have to cross out the ones that you don't think are the
I don't think
right
it's this one.
before
How
you
can
like
keep them all straight?
can go.
We could be here.
I guess they all kind of look the same.
Okay, everyone, I think I've got it.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. We
The
must
final
be
intersection.
here. It's the only one that completely matches our surroundings. Okay, here we are. The desalination plant is here.
We're not that far.
No, we follow this route here. We follow any water mains at junctions in the direction of convergence. Even still, there's barely any turns. Look, just memorize this route.
Uh-oh.
What is it?
They're back. Holy. That's terrifying.
Oh my god!
Run! Run! They're getting separated.
They're afraid of the flare!
I can see them. Get behind me!
Run! I don't think that worked. Jesse! Here they come. Well, I think I chose the right direction.
Oh God, Jess! Oh, what have I done? I just left her down there. I have to go find her.
What? Back down there? With those monsters? No, Jerry. She needs you safe.
Brachiosaurus.
Jess is a strong and resourceful girl. She's doing like we are doing. Surviving.
Can't know that. I won't leave her to those animals.
Jerry, look at me. If we go back down there, we won't make it to the bottom of that ladder. The others escaped down the tunnel we were gonna follow. We know where they're going.
The marine exhibit. That's where Laura would take her.
And Yoder is with them.
Oh God.
If we're going to join them again, that is where we have to go. The quickest way we can.
You're right. We should be able to make better time over land.
Can you get us there?
This is basically, like, gonna be one of the most talkiest moments of the game, because we're about to get hit with Nima's entire backstory. But I actually like it. I actually kind of, like, prefer it. But it just is another way of showing, like, how rushed this episode was, because I can't help but feel like they had so much stuff, like, planned for this game. Almost like they were preparing to have, like, 5 episodes instead of just 4, but the budget got cut, so...
It must be to the north, near the outlet of the river.
Big river? With many falls?
Yeah, the big river.
Okay, good. That's something. Let me get my bearings, and we'll figure out how to get there.
We just gotta listen to a whole lot of stuff.
Do you know where we are?
Let me think. It's been so long. This is my first time back on the island in nearly 12 years. Ingen has changed it so much.
Nima, this island. There's more to it, isn't there? To you, I mean.
Yes, it is very dear to me.
Tell me.
I grew up here, you know, below those trees. My people were fishermen. We would make our homes near the water during the fishing season. I loved the water. I would swim in the ocean. So far. That's why my father called me Nima.
I see now. You and your family used to live on this island?
My family, everyone, my whole tribe. This had been our home for thousands of years. I could go anywhere, run in the jungle, climb the trees. These monsters. There was never anything like them on this island before. It was all very peaceful before Ingen bought the island from Costa Rica.
What does your name mean?
It means little fish. You know, like the ones that have so many colors.
Finding Nima.
I didn't realize this island had been inhabited before. Ingen moved your people?
They promised us homes and medicine. Education.
They didn't keep their promise.
I guess from a point of view they did. But the homes were slums and the medicine was extra or half-used or contaminated. We had schools but no teachers. The island is so different now. I know the island. It's part of me. But when Ingen came to the island, important men from Costa Rica came and asked my father to go back with them. They wanted my father to make a good impression, so that Costa Rica could ask Ingen for a good deal of money for our island. When he was in Costa Rica, he was asked to cut his hair and wear a suit, so that he wouldn't seem simple to the Ingen people.
Spared no expense. Hammond. The man who made all this. He runs Ingen. It's something he always says. He'll spend whatever it takes to make the park a success.
So, he spent it all on the dinosaurs, not on my people. I felt as I feel now. My father was different. I knew him, but some part of him had been lost.
I'm sure it was a very difficult time for your father.
I know he wanted what was best for our people. He was too trusting. They took advantage of him.
He sounds like a brave man. Were you too close?
When we were on the island, yes. We were always together. My father was an awa, a spiritual healer. He sang for Sibo, who created the
Sibo.
earth. He was
Mount
very important
Sibo.
to our tribe. But after we left the island, he would not keep up the old traditions. He was always unhappy.
What is Sibo?
That mountain there. It is like a house, my father said.
It's a volcano.
My people believe that the animals of the world built it. Before Injun. And my father and I would go to the ocean to fish. When I would swim in the ocean, my father would say, Nima!
And that,
Little fish! Little fish, do not swim so far. I cannot catch you so far out.
That's
When
the
Injun came
volcano
to move
that's
us to
gonna
Costa
erupt.
Rica, I became very angry with my father. Whatever he would tell me to do, I would refuse. But he would never be angry with me. He would say that I am a fish who would never eat the fisher's bait. He was right. To me, everything had a string attached.
You remind me of Jess. I mean, that's how it used to be with us before the divorce. I'd take her to the museums or to the zoo. She'd always climb up onto things, you know, such a climber. She can't not climb over things, into things. Climbed into a tiger pen once. With a live tiger.
But not anymore.
No, things haven't been the same since the divorce. Do you still blame him for everything?
No, I have forgiven him. I know to blame Injun now. He would always remind me of my stubbornness. I believe that's how I must always be. You know, no ties, no temptation. But then I had Atlanta, my mariquita.
Atlanta.
She is almost of an age where she will outgrow my protection. Young girls on the streets in my neighborhood, they get snatched up by local cartels, run drugs.
Oh my god.
Or worse, some just disappear. Now there is no choice. Everything I do for her. Now I am the fisher, and at the same time, I have come to a way in my life where I must always chase the bait.
You named your daughter Atlanta?
Yes, it's a beautiful name. I named her after the city. That's where I will take her after this job.
That's a good, strong name. And a good city.
Or at least it used to
I want for
be.
Atlanta to be free. I want for her to have opportunities that I didn't have. I just hope I can be there for her the way my father was there for me. She can be stubborn like her mother used to be, and refuse the fisher's bait. I think I know now it's a good way to be. I think that my father believed that too.
Jess changed my life too. She was my second wife, second daughter. Apparently I'm the genetic carrier of rebellion because both my daughters got it. I worked so hard to protect
Sarah.
Jess and keep her out of trouble.
What about you? Did you turn out so good because your parents kept you out of trouble?
Me? I was a little hellion myself. Uncontrollable. It's in my genes. Oh, now you know this is different. Still, one thing Jess really hasn't had in her life is a present father figure. Well, you've turned into quite the capable woman. Your father must be very proud of you.
Thank you, Jerry. I should have realized that sooner, though.
I'm sure he knew. Nima, look,
What is it?
I'm sorry about what InGen has done to your island. This isn't the way things should have been done.
I don't blame you, Jerry. You're a good person. I see that.
But I take my pay from InGen. I owe you something.
Hard to believe
All
this
right,
game
Jerry.
started with
Enough
her.
talk.
You know where we
Wow,
are.
I got the
I have a good
achievement.
idea. It's a difficult hike. Do you feel rested?
Hungry, a little thirsty, but I just want to get to Jess.
Good.
What's that? Dilophosaurus.
Did you guess Dilophosaurus?
Hello?
That was actually the call of a whooping swan.
The voice you're not
Dinosaurs
hearing
shared
is
many
Richard
features with
Kiley's.
modern-day birds. For instance, we now know that many theropod dinosaurs from the Jurassic period vocal organs are just like modern birds. We are arriving at the fourth of 7 lookouts along the tour.
Fourth of
Your
7.
Jurassic Park tour vehicle will stop for 5
Wow,
minutes
look what
to
happened to
use
that
stretch
thing.
your legs and take photographs of our animals.
I guess Rexy couldn't
Next
get her.
stop, the Jurassic Park Marine Facility and Aquarium.
Couldn't exactly get it. Jurassic Park Marine Facility. That'll take them right there.
Would you look at this?
What? What is it?
What are they?
They look like feeder tanks. This could be a hatchery.
A hatcher what?
They're raising these fish to feed another animal, like at Marine World.
Like the killer whales?
Precisely.
That's a lot of fish.
That's a lot of
How
fish.
many whales are they feeding?
I don't know. It looks like each of these tanks could feed 3 or 4 orcas per day.
Well, you're a fish expert now.
I can make an educated guess.
Look, there's a sign over there. It looks like a schedule or
June
something.
12th.
This is a hatchery. That's the stocking schedule for the tanks.
Some tells me these fish aren't for feeding whales, huh, Doc? Hold up. I hear something.
There's something up ahead.
All clear.
They're already here.
Dad!
Jess.
I
Oh,
can't help
thank
but
God.
feel like we got a few scenes out of order, though.
Are you okay? Are you hurt?
No, I'm okay. Just, can we go home now?
I'm so
Gotta
glad
keep
you two are
talking
safe,
so that I
Jerry.
don't have to mute
How
this
did you
portion
manage
of
to
the
get
video.
here?
We climbed out of
Anyway,
the tunnels through a service hatch near one of the
that's-
tour routes. Luckily, someone left the tour program running.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I guess that was a
You
good
mean-
idea.
Dr. Sorkin, the phones are not working.
Phone's not
sorry?
There is
working?
no dial tone. You said the phones would be working here.
That's odd.
Well,
My
we-
control terminal showed that the main lines here were active. Unless,
But you shut down the power.
of course, everything is controlled by the computer systems, even the phones. If the power outage outlasted the battery backups, then the system is probably just waiting to be booted up.
Get us to the phones, Doc. We don't have a lot of time.
Mr. Yoder, I refuse to be pushed around by you any longer.
Don't argue
This is
with
the
him,
day
lady!
trip. If we don't contact InGen and get another helicopter out here for you all, the next flight over the island is gonna be a wing of B-52s carrying holy hellfire.
What?
What?
That's right, Doc. They're gonna murder all your precious little pets and sink this island into the Pacific.
Dios mío. That's what you meant by ground zero?
Yeah, that's right.
Why didn't you tell me earlier? This is my home.
What do you mean you're home? I didn't tell you earlier because I thought we'd be off the island by now.
This island is the ancestral home of her people.
Wait. What is Dr. Sorkin doing?
What is she doing?
Laura,
Sorkin!
wait, what are you...
Where is she going?
I don't know. This rotunda. It's where the control room is. She's going to the phones without us.
Damn it! Get that elevator back up here!
Well, anyways, that is where I'm going to have to cut it off for this episode. I really hope that you guys have been enjoying this playthrough of Jurassic Park the Game. We've only got one episode left after this, and it's going to be very, very crazy. I know that this last one was pretty talkative, but I figured, like, our adventure with the Troodons more than made up for it, and the action levels of the final act of the game that we are now heading into, it's going to be very tense. Like, you guys have no idea. Anyways, there are a lot of things that I want to talk about. Even though a lot of people complained that Nima's entire backstory was just very clunkily handed to us right there, a lot of people believe that maybe they could have, like, found the tour vehicle already moving and then maybe she could have given the exposition, but I don't know. My problem with it is that it clearly shows that the sequence of events is out of order because they wanted to do it for the sake of a dramatic shot. What I mean by that is that ultimately, the way that it goes is that with Billy breaking into that door and getting them into the marine exhibit, it ultimately comes off as, It ultimately makes it seem like they immediately, like, got through the door and were finally in the marine exhibit, and Jerry and Nima were already waiting for them there, even though Nima's backstory probably took a good solid 5 minutes or so. The thing about that is that the sequence of events is all wrong because it showed basically like Billy, Jess, and Dr. Sorkin running away from the Troodons, and they ran all the remaining way to the marine exhibit, whereas whereas Jerry and Nema climbed out of the maintenance tunnels and had to like hitchhike the rest of the way effectively. Now, basically, like, the Troodons were closing in on them, and we hear Jess scream, and then we cut back to Jerry and Nema, who are just making their escape, when realistically speaking, that's not how the events did play out. Like, it probably was quite a long distance for them to run on foot through the tunnels to get all the way to the to the marine exhibit, so I think that, like, with the sequence of events goes that once they get separated, Jerry and Nema get out of the tunnels first, have their expositional backstory dialogue, figure out where they need to go, get into the tour vehicle, and then make their way towards the marine exhibit, and then you cut back to Jerry, Yoder, and Dr. Sorkin running from the Troodons, and then Billy breaking the door open to try to get them to safety. That's literally the only way that it could actually work. And I stand by that, so I don't know, it's just, I feel like this portion of the game gets a bad rap, and I do think that it's kind of rushed because, I don't know, I feel like there was just so much more that they wanted to do with these characters. Like, I felt like they wanted to give Nema's backstory a bit more naturally, but they had to basically give it all in just one big gigantic chunk. And for some people that basically are just, like, really impatient, this can be a bit of a slog to get through, but me personally, since I like the story so much, and I actually care more about story than I do about gameplay, I actually kind of enjoy it. So, anyways, a few important details that we just learned. Nema's native people who lived on the island, they apparently worship Sibo, who is the spirit of the mountain and whatnot. But Sibo is also the name of the volcano that basically formed Isla Nublar, and for those of you who have been keeping up with the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom trailers, Sibo is the volcano that's basically going to rip the island in half. Yeah, it's basically been like a long time coming in like other forms of Jurassic Park media, especially video games, about the possibility of the volcano erupting, and usually it always involved, we gotta save the dinosaurs, and usually that involved shooting them with guns that clearly had, like, guns that were clearly, like, explosive rounds, but somehow the game explains that, oh, they were just tranquilizers. You're not killing the dinosaurs, you're saving them. Especially, like, the new Jurassic Park arcade game that I think came out in 2015. Man, that game is so fun. I really hope that an arcade around here gets it, because I will, like, spend all the money on it. Anyways, like, that's basically what I feared for a long time would eventually happen. The idea that one day that volcano would explode and not just kill all the animals there, but also the fact that Isla Nublar, Jurassic Park itself, will be gone. And I kind of feel cheated, because ever since the sequels started following Isla Sorna, I kind of can't help but feel like Isla Nublar was sort of forgotten about. But we had just gotten Isla Nublar back with Jurassic World, and the park actually opened, which was incredible to see, but now it's already gone again, and I miss it, you know what I'm saying? Other things that are important is that Billy just mentioned that the island is about to be destroyed. Basically, a wing of B-52s is going to, like, fly over the island, and it's going to nape the island with explosives and basically sink this island back into the Pacific. So that's actually a reference to how the novel ended. Yep, surprise, surprise. In the original novel, Jurassic Park is completely destroyed when the fictitious Costa Rican Air Force bombs it. So that's actually kind of like a clever reference to bring into this game, because it's like, everybody was wondering what exactly happened to Isla Nublar after the first movie ended, especially since, like, so many things were left open and unanswered, because we shifted focus and started moving towards Isla Sorna instead. But there's actually, like, this actually becomes a major point of contention as to whether or not the game is considered canon. And going back to the soft canon argument, I actually think that there is an explanation for all of this, which we will get to at the end of the final episode. So, let's end this episode reading what we have here. The Marine Exhibit. Remember how John diverted half of my funding for urgent needs last year? Well, I happened to get a look at one of those needs today, and it's another tourist trap, a marine exhibit. It's not going to open until Phase B, which means it's not a priority over opening the park, just over basic research. The guys building it don't even know what animals it's meant to hold. Maybe John will get Wu to spin a plesiosaur out of pollywogs. Man, this woman is so salty, isn't she? But I guess it's somewhat understandable. Now, ultimately, I have a few thoughts about the Troodons in this game. Literally, ever since the game was first promoted, I suspected that the Troodons were going to be the new secret animal that's been set loose in Jurassic Park, something that nobody was actually supposed to know about, and they're far more dangerous than anything that had been let loose on the island before. I actually anticipated that it would be Troodons, and I was actually fairly pleased when I found out that I was right, but the problem I feel with the Troodons is sort of in both their execution and their design. Literally speaking, like, all throughout the game, all 4 episodes, they were building up these really dangerous, really scary super predators, basically to, like, have as the main antagonists throughout the entire game. But, and sorry for the spoiler alert here, but that was literally the last that we saw of them. Literally, we have one encounter in them in the Troodon nest, they chase us through the tunnels, and that's literally the last we saw of them. I would have liked it better if they had come back for the climax, because then I feel like having included them would actually be more worth it, but the way that they were handled just kind of comes off as very poor in my opinion. And then there's the design of the creatures. Troodons are actually some of the first dinosaurs that I were ever introduced to that had feathers when I first learned about them, so it was easier for me to accept the idea that they basically came with feathers, and I imagine them being rather bright and colorful. This game, however, seems to have a very different interpretation of Troodons, as I don't know about you guys, but the way that these animals look just seems unnatural. They look deformed, almost like they're somehow mutants and whatnot, like something went wrong with the genetic splicing and that they're basically like more abhorrent than they're supposed to be. Plus, I feel like their proportions are all off, because Troodons they were pretty small, like basically like even smaller than what Velociraptor is supposed to be, but I feel like these ones are actually a bit too big, and not just too big, but also a bit too wide. I feel like their necks are too long, and their heads are way too broad, almost kind of like the size of shovels in a way. And plus, with their big bulging eyes, red underbellies, and like basically like their huge mouths and whatnot, I can't help but get that deformed, inbred mutant vibe from them. And ultimately, that sort of lessens them, in my opinion, because it kind of makes it seem like the designers of the game were trying too hard to make these things look ugly and scary, and as a result, an unintended consequence is that it makes them far less scary. I mean, I really kind of roll my eyes at things that basically try to be abhorrent and disgusting, trying to scare you, because I feel like scaring, fear as basically scares in movies should more or less basically come from the filmmaking itself rather than just the design of something that's scary. It should basically be how that creature behaves, the tone that the movie is trying to set, the subtleties, the camera work. Basically speaking, the raptors in Jurassic Park, you wouldn't necessarily think that they looked scary if you saw them, but basically it's how they behave that sets them apart, and that's what makes them scary. Especially during the scene where where Muldoon is trying to shoot the raptors, and one of them comes out of the bushes beside him, and that's basically what scares me right there, because it shows that not only was the creature intelligent enough to trick Muldoon into walking into a trap, but also the fact that it clearly has a sense of maliciousness as it prepares to kill Muldoon. And that split second that it just sits there, as right before it attacks him, it just gives this impression that it's pleased that it managed to dupe Muldoon like this and effectively catch him with his pants down. It's Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you guys are enjoying this playthrough of Jurassic Park the Game. If you like this video, please leave a comment on the comment section below. Be sure to like and share it with your friends. You want to keep up to date on more Jurassic Park the Game coming your way in the future, then just smash that subscribe button and ring that little bell to become part of the notification squad. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next video. Later!